have those emails if they don't work? They don't work?
They probably work. I don't think anybody has
Well, the problem,
checked them in years.
I can tell you what the problem is with mine. It gets so much spam. I don't get the real ones. I get junk.
Okay.
Okay. Good morning. I would like to call to order the Planning Commission meeting of July 28th, 2016. We have Commissioner Allered, who's supposed to be here today, but perhaps is late, and then Commissioner Wooster is not going to be with us this morning. Would you join me now with the salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Any agenda changes?
No.
Okay. Next is our consent agenda, which is the approval of minutes from July 14th Planning Commission meeting. Are there any additions, revisions? I do know that Commissioner Wooster had some, which she shared with Darcy, that she's going to share with us. But are there any others before we? No? Okay. So Darcy, could you?
Sure. Good morning. So I have Commissioner Wooster's changes under staff discussion for public comment. He states that it is Zerl McDaniels and not Sarah.
True.
Under staff discussion, he would like added, during Sheep Ranch Community Plan, Mr. Wooster recused himself and left the room during deliberations. And Tim Laddish was spelled wrong. And under the public commenters, he would like his name added.
Okay. And with that, maybe I would also like to add that I recuse myself on discussion and voting on the McCollum Hill Community Plan. So with those amendments, is there a motion to
I'll
approve
make
the
a
minutes?
motion to approve with the amendments.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Sorry, forgot the public comment period. So at this point, if there's anyone with us this morning that would like to address the Planning Commission on a land use item that's not on our agenda this morning, this would be your opportunity. Okay, seeing no one, we will move on to the public hearings. Before we continue with the public hearing, I just wanted to have a discussion with the Planning Commission because there were some glitches in commissioner emails, and that we didn't receive the initial study or the project site maps, etc. So I'm just wanting to know if there's a couple of options, if you feel you have enough information to move forward. Do we want to take a short break and then review the initial study and any other documents such as the site plan that we've not seen, or we could continue it?
I'd like to have at least 10 minutes just to review this paperwork before we proceed.
Likewise.
Okay, so maybe we'll take a recess until 9:15 and give us a chance to review the initial study and see if that's going to be adequate enough for us as a commission to consider, discuss, and take action on this application. So 9:15, we'll be reading. Thank you. Convene the Planning Commission meeting. If you could take your seats. Thank you very much. So I'd like to discuss it with the Planning Commission as far as what action, how would you like to proceed?
I don't honestly feel that I can make a legitimate decision based on getting all this information this morning because there's quite a bit of information to take in here. I think we should probably continue this to be fair to both sides.
I concur with her. I would like to make a motion for that.
Well, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been second. Any further discussion? I would like to say as well that I think that, our planning staff has been inundated with a lot of work regarding medical marijuana, and we have some new planning staff, no fault of Mr. Spear, but sent a lot of the initial study and the correspondence to an email addresses that the Planning Commission hasn't used for quite some time. So given all of those factors, I know it's a great inconvenience, but I think it would be in everyone's best interest, and I would concur with my commissioners that, we continue this to a date certain.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And again, sort of apologize for the miscommunication and apologize to the public, the applicant, the appellant, for the additional time that's necessary. You probably want, since we do have an advertised public hearing, we want to open the public hearing to discuss the motion of continuance.
Sure.
There could be concerns about timing and those kinds of things.
Okay.
Rather than, and then once the public hearing is closed, then you can decide on a date based on that.
Okay. All right. With that, I would like to open the public hearing for a discussion about the Commission's intended action to continue this item. Sure. Come on up.
I guess I'm first. My name's Jack Counts, 5252 Bear Creek Road, Lodi. Good morning. I was going to speak today, and obviously, about being next door to where the monopole is going to be. My attorney actually couldn't show up today anyway, so maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Would it be okay if I turned in my notes instead of sending them to you? I got a copy for everybody.
Sure.
Give it to you now with a copy of the estimate that we have for paving, and then I guess we reconvene next month. Or
Yes, we got your comments for the estimate of repaving. We did receive.
Oh, you do have that. You do have
that. That was
Okay.
in our staff report. So.
Okay. I have some additional notes that I think I don't have to read right now, but I'll give them to you, and then
Yes,
you're
that
done.
would be helpful.
Okay.
And I apologize for the inconvenience, but
No,
I
that's okay.
think it's probably best for you and for Verizon, for this project, that we be fully informed before taking
Okay.
deliberations on it.
Is Verizon here?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
So there's really nothing to talk about now. We'll just talk about the next meeting. Is that correct?
Well, if you had something that you wanted, to, that's.
Well, my main concern.
Oh, right. No, so let's just, this discussion, I've been reminded, is really about the continuance, not about the project itself.
Okay, so I'll just turn these in.
Great, thank you. You could just give them to Darcy. Anyone else want to discuss the Planning Commission's intention to continue this item?
Mr. Couts, is there a date into the future that is a preference for, we're trying to get a date that will work for everybody?
Deer season's coming up.
The next regularly scheduled
That's
meeting,
kind of, and grapes,
The next regularly scheduled meeting is,
August 11th, 2 weeks from today.
yeah,
August 11th would be fine.
okay, all right. Thank you.
August 11th.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the commission on the continuance? Thank you, Mr. Couts.
Just a quick one. See, I used to be here a long time ago. I just...
Could you please state your name for the record?
Bill Mason.
Thank you, Bill.
Murphy's, California. I just want to say hello to all the people I used to work with here, and I guess I got to come back if I want to talk again. And I see you all look good. And I see Ted's here, which is good, because he was my mentor when I started the Planning Commission for a long time ago.
Thank you.
And I have no comment about the continuance.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else?
Good morning, Colleen Platt with MyValleySprings.com. I was just wondering if you could address, because the reason for this continuance was the confusion in emails, so I was wondering if you could address what the
Confusion
current proper emails are to contact the Planning Commission.
Well, I believe that typically the planning staff has been using like our personal emails, and this correspondent was sent to some emails that we had established. I think it was like Planning Commission 1 or Planning Commission 2, some emails that were used years ago. So, the practice has been just to send it to our individual personal emails.
Okay, maybe that could be repeated for the public, because I think a lot of people still think that it is PlanCom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're sending to that.
Well, just for clarity purposes, when they go on the website and they do send it to the planning department, they do disperse it to all of us. So
Yes.
if they're using the website for that email.
Annette uses
it's-
the right ones.
Yeah, Annette will
If you get it
disperse
to
it
the
to all of
web-
us. So we do
Right.
get those.
Through the website?
Yes.
The problem with that is you can't send attachments. That's why we don't use that.
You have all of our personal emails, just so
I
everybody knows.
personally do,
Mine,
I
that-
personally do,
yes.
but the rest of the public probably
The one
doesn't.
that I use for the Planning Commission is lisambpc3@gmail.com.
Okay. And maybe everybody could do that.
Mine's
so-
Stopper Benjamin at iCloud.com.
Copper Benjamin?
Stopper.
Stopper, sorry. Duh, Stopper. And Lisa MPC, you said?
lisambpc3@gmail.
PC3@gmail, okay. Okay, and,
And I'll work with IT.
I know you have mine, but
I know, yeah, I do.
it's tallard@goldrush.com.
Code. Okay.
And fjmclaughlin@comcast.net.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Dennis Griffin, I'm from Murphy's. Will we be getting a letter or something as to this rescheduled meeting? Some of the people that live up there aren't here.
We will not be sending out a
additional memo?
re-notification because we're all here today talking about it, so everyone knows that the hearing will be continued at the date that the Planning Commission sets.
Okay.
So,
So you're going to have to carry the message forward when we give the date to the people that you are aware of that are interested.
I just don't hear very well, and I wasn't able to follow.
Okay, we're going to tell you what date we're going to hear this again.
It was the 11th.
Well, tentatively, but we're gonna finalize that, and then you'll know. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, so I'll close the public hearing. So do we want to continue till August, what was it, 11th?
August 11th, we will have 4 other appeals on that date.
Ooh, fine.
Medical cannabis registration appeals, as well as the beginning of the land use maps. So it'll be a busy day.
Okay.
But
Could we put this first on the agenda,
sure,
just out of
Yeah.
courtesy?
that would make sense.
Okay.
So maybe we'll
I
just
agree.
plan to have the appeals in the morning, and we'll start the general plan in the afternoon.
Yes,
And we can advertise it we can notice it that way.
that would be good. Okay. So we had a motion and a second on the floor. Do we need to amend that to say the exact date or of August 11th?
Yes, I don't think the motion included the
Okay.
date, so. it'd
Does
be-
the representative for Verizon want to weigh in on that date? Okay.
Okay, I'll amend my original motion to include August 11th.
So continue to a date certain, August 11th.
Yes.
Likewise with the second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, so we will hear this application on August 11th. That will be the first item on the agenda. And again, I apologize and thank you for coming, and hope to see you all back then.
Is that around 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock, not even around. It will be at 9.
9.
Thank you. Okay.
Sorry.
So next up on our agenda is the continued discussion on the general plan update. Whoop, excuse me. Hello. We have other business, so if you guys could take that out into the foyer. Thank you. We are continuing our public hearing on the general plan update, and our topic of discussion today is the community planning element, continued from July 14th, 16. In our staff report, we did get the revised community planning
I
section.
think the only thing that was really sort of left hanging was the additional language to the first 2 sheep ranch policies, where I added a phrase that tried to clarify that someone still has the right to apply for a general plan amendment. It doesn't prohibit it, but trying to meet the desires of the community, at the same time the ability of the landowner to make an application. So if you're satisfied with that language, then that was the major change. Now, I know that Commissioner Stopper had contacted me earlier in the week about the Rancho Calaveras Jenny Lynn Community Plan. We didn't have a chance to talk about it, so I'm not sure what the concerns were, and so maybe I'll turn it over to Commissioner Stopper at this point.
I don't have copies for everyone, but I had received a community plan from the people that put it together and proposed it to Peter. I delved into it a lot deeper, and a lot of the issues are addressed in the general plan. There's just a couple of small issues on it when it comes to the Rancho Clubhouse property. And when it's here, I got my notes right here. Let me get it all out here. I would like to readdress the Rancho Clubhouse and also the fact that there is a real estate office there in front that's grandfathered in. That's been there since before they even put Rancho Calaveras together, and that's a business running outside of Jenny Lynn at that location. So I feel that we should note that that business is able to continue to run, and also the fact that the Rancho Clubhouse there is designated residential rural, and it is a nonprofit 501c6. It's considered a social club, and the actions that happen there would not typically fall within a rural residential. And I would like to personally make a motion to for us to consider designating those two properties as a golf course, commercial residential, so that they could continue to operate as within the proper parameters they have since the beginning Rancho was put there.
So this
Does that make sense?
has to do with the map, not really the text.
Well, in the text.
It says no
It says the
commercial.
only place commercial is able to be had is in Jenny Lynn. And those two areas are outside the vicinity of the original town, Jenny Lynn. So there is conflict there, I'm finding. Miss McLaughlin.
I'm going to bring up the map.
Yes.
So we can look at that. And I actually have the ARC reader loaded on the computer so we can zoom in on things and look at the zoning. So it should be a little bit easier. This will be a good test run for 2 weeks. It just takes a moment to load here. So. I think there's two options, and we might want to consider policy language in lieu of a map change. If we identify commercial land use designation, it sort of opens up to much broader than just simply the clubhouse or the existing real estate office. Both of those would be considered legal nonconforming uses and can continue sort of indefinitely as long as that use, and it could actually sort of change use as long as it doesn't expand or increase the intensity. So if the real estate office were to decide to close, but some other office use wanted to go in there instead, that would be consistent. Certainly the clubhouse is not going to go away, and that's something that could just continue as is without violating either zoning or the general plan. But it might be good to add some language to that effect in the text of the document, or we can look at the map and see.
I think that Commissioner Stopper has brought up a very good valid point, and I'll give you an example of what happened in '96. Blue Lake Springs subdivision also had a real estate office within that subdivision. Their zoning was for commercial, and in '96, whenever they worked on the general plan, that zoning was changed to residential. When that real estate office went to retire, being able to sell it and pick up a new owner became a humongous issue. They did not even know that their zoning was changed, but they had no protections to resell their business for their retirement. It was a very devastating situation that happened. Annette had looked into this for me about a year ago because we were looking at what we're doing with the land use maps, and I wanted her to specifically look at that. If that property is not protected for future uses, that word grandfathering is for like business. They own a commercial piece of property, and if it's a real estate office, it had to sell to a real estate office under that grandfather zoning. So for protecting the business that's currently there, if they wanted to sell it to another office-like type business, I think protections need to be put into place because it's really damaging to somebody that has purchased property in a building, has a business in effect, and they can't sell it, and it's part of their retirement. So I'm more supportive of Ben's, a situation here where that's been a long-standing building and the word grandfather doesn't have a whole lot of meaning unless you're selling it to the exact same type of business.
And the other thing to consider too, I mean, if these are the kinds of uses that the community supports, such as the clubhouse and the real estate office, let's say that the real estate, I mean, there are challenges, I think, that if the real estate office were vacant for more than a year, then the grandfathering may not be an acceptable, may go away is what I'm saying. It might go away because of the abandoned nature of that non-conforming.
Before
use.
the community plans were edited, we did not get copies of those original versions. And I would say whatever that community plan had in their original community plan for protections for those parcels, we should be looking at because that's kind of the desire of the community. Do you have that language?
Yeah, here, let me make sure I pull it for it. Hope I grabbed it. Here it is. Right on top where I should have it.
It's
Okay.
there's no page numbering, but section 3.0.
Right. I'll get to the office, but neither one, it's something I caught off the side as I was reading through this, that neither one addressed the issue when it came to the clubhouse specifically. That's something I chose to bring up because I wanted to protect that use for the people in the community that use it. So that's specifically why I brought that up. But it was in here on the 3.1. Existing land use outside Rancho. Mayor, go ahead and read this.
Sure.
The area surrounding Rancho okay, I'm going to go ahead and skip 3.1 and move to commercial 3.2.
So just to make sure, this is the existing special plan for Rancho. That's what you're reading from.
This is the one that was submitted.
When all the community plans were submitted.
Right.
So this was the proposed plan by the Rancho community.
By the people that worked on it for the Rancho community.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we all understood what
I'm
we were
looking at the
reading.
date on it, it says 2/14.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah,
Okay,
revision.
Yeah.
just
And it
so
was,
everybody knows.
drafted in 2010, and then it was revised in 2014.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry for the interruption.
No, thank you. We'll go to 3.2, commercial land use in Rancho Calaveras. Permanent commercial zoning is not permitted in Rancho Calaveras. The only allowed use that falls into commercial use is the real estate office on Highway 26 and Baldwin Street. This is a legal, non-conforming use as it was established when lots were first sold by Pacific Cascade and predates the 1973 special plan. If the use is discontinued for more than 1 year, any such future use must obtain approval of conditional use permit from the Planning Commission. So that's basically how they address the.
And that's consistent with our county code.
Okay.
So if we added that language into the Rancho, then
We could certainly add that language into the discussion.
in the Rancho section, and including maybe include the clubhouse with that, or?
I would think we need to include the clubhouse, but see, I just personally see a conflict as the zoning pertains to the use that's actually used by the clubhouse, and the fact that the real estate office actually owns the tennis courts also. So that's like a recreational thing that's part of, on the same property as.
So who owns the tennis courts? The real estate office?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's part of the same property right there. So it's not owned by the clubhouse. So in that sense, the clubhouse does hire people. It is a nonprofit, but it spends all its money back into itself, to keep
Sure.
itself afloat and to give the uses to people there. They have a snack bar, they have other such things that are outside the language that are proposed for the community plan. So that's why I was suggesting a change on the land use map for that certain section, because that certain section falls right within a commercial recreational area, and it's not changing the areas around it and does not affect them in my mind.
The only thing is, if we actually change the map for the real estate office to be commercial, then if the real estate office went away, then you could have a Dollar General. I mean, any commercial use could then occupy that. I mean, I'm just saying you're opening the door there for a lot of other allowable uses. Not that there's something wrong with the Dollar General, but it could be.
Generally, I would agree with you, but if you looked at the land size, there's not.
No,
that
any
with
kind
it.
of office. I mean, it could be any kind of commercial use. I'm just saying it wouldn't have to be a real estate office.
Okay.
If you change the zoning to commercial, it's any commercial that would be allowed by right, and then any use that would be allowed subject to a conditional use permit.
Okay, so would language take care of that in the sense?
I don't
that-
know. I'm not really sure exactly how. I'm just saying it's that.
I know I'm making it more complicated than it
Not-
needs to be.
you know what,
I'm
not really.
Trying to cover everyone's bases there
and this
that
is
are
the right
functioning
time
right
to
now.
have this discussion, too.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the importance of the discussion that we're having is going to be when that community plan was worked on and what the community came up with this language for a reason in that community. So they didn't ask for a zone change in the community plan under its development, and they obviously came up with language saying that after a year it went away. So is the zone change on the property something that's people worked on the community plan are talking to you about, or is this just?
This was a thought of mine when I was going over it, more so for the Rancho Clubhouse more than the real estate office. The real estate office, I think, can be addressed with the language that they proposed with the community plan here. And that way, a Dollar General doesn't go in. But I'm trying to address the issue with the clubhouse more so than
And you're not asking so much for commercial as much as you are recreational.
recreational. That is there a land use that I've missed that?
We do have a Parks and Recreation land use designation where I think a clubhouse would be considered consistent with that. Remind me, I've been to the clubhouse a couple times, so I'm drawing a blank on exactly. This is the tennis courts here. This is the real estate office here, right? Is it?
The tennis courts is the real estate office right there.
The little one there by the road.
Yeah, right there.
Oh, right in front? Okay.
It's like under 600 square feet.
Okay, okay, so this is the property, the real estate office and tennis courts.
Yes, sir.
And then the clubhouse
Is with the pool directly
right here?
right there.
Okay,
And the
yeah.
par-
Yeah,
And
you
I
come up
believe
that-
the parking area is part of the same
Yeah, it's
property.
all one property.
Oh,
Yes.
right, right.
Mhm.
R3. Is that RR3?
Yes,
Is that rural residential?
rural
3 acre
residential 3-acre.
Minimum?
So I think the options would be we could designate it as Parks and Recreation. In fact, we could, because the tennis courts are there and we'd want to probably keep the tennis courts, we could designate both those parcels as Parks and Recreation and then add the language that's, was in the draft plan. We could also create similar language to address the clubhouse and recreation facility.
I think that does definitely address it better than my original proposal of making it commercial recreational.
Yeah.
Definitely. That way it maintains the atmosphere that people want in Rancho Calaveras in the future.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
Is there anybody here from Rancho that would like to comment on this? Oh, I'm sure we'll ask them that.
Yeah.
We'll get- I'm looking at that
I know
sign
why.
out there, Mr. Peter.
So is it language we can develop like today?
I think that would be great. Maybe I can be sort of working on something if there's any public comment
Okay,
on
that
the
would be,
issue.
that's what I was just trying to gauge, if we could, so we don't have to come back. So is there anyone in the public that would like to discuss this item about the Rancho Community Plan and potential action to address the clubhouse and the real estate office?
Yes, I'm Peter Reyes. I'm from the 5th District, neighbor of the Rancho. I'm not in the Rancho, but I am a great supporter of the people. Because if you notice, this is one of the only recreational area that's not getting subsidy from general fund. I also like to point out, and you probably know more about it than I do, there's a tremendous acreage goes from 26 going toward the river. It belongs to Rancho, the people in Rancho, who is a state corporation, by the way. So I don't know how much you can push a state corporation around by local zoning, okay? And I like to point out that I like to find out if anybody can tell me what is the area of interest and area of influence does Rancho has officially. I mean, we all have interest. That's limited by so many feet. But influence carries a little bit more weight. Yeah, my interest, hey, somebody builds 600 feet from you, you got to notify him. But influence is that when you have something to say about it. And I don't think there's ever been, maybe you folks have it. I'd like to know the area of influence that Rancho State Corporation has in the 5th District. Because there's a tremendous amount of potential. And I don't know how you would classify it. Is it going to be a commercial? Is it going to be a private? But when you go toward the river, they own, there's some question, but they own both sides of the river. And it's supposed to be recreational purposes. Now, if they lease out some of those areas for a commercial, like a rafting company or somebody, they can raft down the Calaveras River or something, camping, that you can have different Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts come down in their area, it has not been developed. So I just want to make sure that they're not going to be limited down the road. Clubhouse is wonderful, but they own a whole bunch of property that has a tremendous opportunity for commercial recreational area. And I don't quite think it's on this map shows, but if you go the map this way, so you can show it all the way down to the river, you got acreage up through Wazoo. They're just waiting for development. So I'm not a Rancho people. I use it all the time, but I'm not a dues paying or in a Rancho. That's a different story that's probably going to pop up later on. But Rancho has a tremendous amount of future recreational opportunities. And I know it's been looked into. They don't have the bucks. They're struggling. Those are all volunteers without any money from anybody except what they get support from locals. But you get a tremendous amount of water frontage. I don't think that's even touched land that they have, both sides of the river. So I'm hoping that maybe somehow it's included that those rights get clarified, that they have an opportunity down the road. and money allows, and I'm not talking about general fund money, but they can have a commercial zone for recreational area also. That map would, you see what the opportunities are there. And I'm sure all of you are into recreational facilities for the kids and so on. That Rancho people made it work without general funds.
Thank you, Mr. Race.
You're more than welcome.
I just want to
Thank you.
add that that's not the only recreation area that's not supported by general fund monies.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, just want to make that
There
clear.
are a few good people in this country.
There are.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, Colleen Platt, my Valley Springs and a Rancho Calaveras resident. And thank you, Commissioner Stopper, for bringing that forward. That's something I hadn't thought about before, those parcels being designated residential. That's not proper. So I think your solution of including the original language that was in the Rancho plan about the real estate office, because it sounds like they were not adverse to that reverting to residential at some point if it was abandoned. So, including that language would be proper, or leave it, a real estate office if it wants to continue. That would solve that problem. And the clubhouse does carry out a lot of activities over there. They have flea markets, parties, fundraisers, all kinds of things, and the community would like to see that continue as long as possible, as long as the clubhouse is a formal Rancho Calaveras Property Owners Association is what it's actually called. And Mr. Reyes did bring up the fact it's a voluntary membership. It's not a mandatory homeowners association like most of them. It's voluntary. So it's supported by just the people that do choose to join that membership. So the funds are not very large. So they do a really good job at keeping that open and keeping the grounds open and opening it for the public on occasion. So whatever you can do to, if the recreation designation will protect that and keep it from ever going commercial, because the community is very clear they don't want commercial in the area. So if that can be protected, I support that a lot. As far as the other comments about land along the river, again, that belongs to just the Rancho Calaveras Property Owners Association members. That's the only people that can access that land, technically, legally. I'm sure other people do, but so it couldn't be, I don't think, opened up to the public at any point for a commercial venture, but that's just my interpretation of their rules and regulations. Thank you. Any questions? Yeah.
Just to address part of that, I believe during last meeting, Marty Crane brought up some of the equestrian ways, and she mentioned something about 2007, 2008, and it does address in here the ones that have been closed, and it did go through a court thing, and I guess that would be already addressed in the general plan and the mapping area, so that though some of those equestrian ways have been closed down. And some of them were
Right.
just like straight drop-offs. I mean, really, you can't walk down that way anyways. And then others weren't really worked out properly with people's fencing. And I believe some of the property is not owned. Is still not. I think somewhere down the line, that piece you're looking right there did extend down the river farther. And at some point, that changed hands. I don't know exactly when or what, but there has been older maps that I've seen where that park designation extended further.
Yeah,
But-
I think there's been some mapping issues over the years as far as, where the actual lot lines have
I
been.
think there was some property that changed hands also.
That could be- that could be.
I'm not sure,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, I can't say too
Yeah.
exactly how it happened, so I just,
The easement issue on, if you're a property owner in Rancho Calaveras, which I think you are and I am, on a lot of them, it's a dotted line on your parcel map that shows an easement, and it's on your private property. But over the 30 or 40 years that Rancho has been in existence, only a few of those easements were developed for pedestrian and equestrian access. Most of them were never developed. And septic systems and fences were built on them and all sorts of buildings. So They weren't feasible anyway, which is why most of them were abandoned back in 2006. But they did keep the property owners association accesses to the river were kept. As far as I know, they kept all of their accesses to the river, the parcels that were accesses to the river. That's just my understanding of
There's
that.
one other piece down here that needs to be corrected. This is owned by the Property Owners Association. All the rest of it appears to be in private hands, and as you stated there, it may have been something that was transferred later on after the map was recorded. I don't know who New Hogan Properties LLC is.
It's a private investor.
Yeah.
I have a list I can send you. At one point, the Property Owners Association had about a 2-page list of easements that they were keeping with the parcel numbers.
You know, I
don't
think
know.
that's really more of something between the Property Owners Association and the individual property owners, rather than the county getting involved in that. Again, you know, it's not something that the county
Okay.
is actually
I thought they were-
managing,
okay.
or, but as far as land use designation, this piece here will be changed as well when we revise the maps to bring that back.
To recreation?
To the recreation, because it's owned by the, but it's, again, it's private recreation for the homeowners
Right.
of Rancho.
Right.
Not necessarily.
Right.
But I mean, that additional piece there too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think,
added to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we discussed that last time.
Right.
And he did go over it, and he did see that. And because that was something that I had known about when I talked with the people at the clubhouse beginning of July. And I just wanted to make sure that that was included inside the boundaries. And Peter did catch it, and we're moving forward on getting that fixed now, right?
Right.
So,
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we'll close the public hearing, and Peter, do you have some proposed?
So we'll make the changes to the land use map to Parks and Recreation, which is the green stippled kind of drawing. In addition to the paragraph that was contained in the 2010-2014 draft plan, I would suggest this added language at the end of that paragraph. Similarly, the Rancho Calaveras.
So what paragraph?
We don't have that.
Right, so,
The
but where
one-
would we
oh.
put it in here, I guess?
This would be, I would plug this into the, at the end, a new paragraph at the end of community vision.
Okay.
So that would be added sort of to the bottom of page 11 in the community plan document. So we have the language that Commissioner Stopper read, and I would add, similarly, the Rancho Calaveras Clubhouse is a non-residential use. This use is considered consistent and compatible with the residential nature of Rancho Calaveras. Do you think that covers it? Should we add that and may continue? I don't know that we want to necessarily require that if it closes down, that they have to get a conditional use permit to reactivate it. So I think we just, you know, and it can continue its present use. Something like that. That makes sense?
Definitely, or in perpetuity?
What he's saying is if the real estate office closed a year later, they should...
Well, no, we're just talking
You were
about the
talking
clubhouse.
the clubhouse at this moment.
Yeah.
I thought he mentioned the real estate.
No, because we already had the language for the real estate office that
That's-
was in the plan, so we're just
Right.
trying to address. And I guess what you're concerned about is like, yeah, it's a consistent use, or it's like it's an appropriate use, but you're looking for some time frame, you know, so it's like, forever, perpetuity, or I mean, like,
Well, and if you
Unless
make-
it was to change hands, I would suppose, you know, if at some point they went belly up, I don't know.
But if you change the zoning to Parks and Recs, that's going to give the ability restricted use just to those usages, right?
Right, but that's, I mean, there's no commercial use there right now. It's
no, but
a
it could
benefit
it
to
could
the.
become a bowling alley then. Nothing wrong with that?
No, that would actually be more of the commercial recreation.
Okay.
So it wouldn't, and if someone wanted to expand it, they wanted to put in a new pool or add tennis courts or bocce ball or whatever they want to do, that's all sort of consistent with that.
So do you think we need some kind of time frame, or is just, what was the language again?
Just that this use is considered consistent and compatible with the residential nature of Rancho Calaveras.
Other than that, if I was to show you.
I think it's fine to leave it at that, but if you want to say something that it
And
may continue,
and may continue, period.
And may continue, okay.
Yeah.
Went through the whole general plan and found.
So
most of the
how
issues
about
addressed.
Peter's Lane, we'll just say, well, why don't you read it again?
Okay, read again, sorry.
You guys were chatting.
I know.
Similarly, the Rancho Calaveras Clubhouse is a non-residential use. This use is considered consistent and compatible with the residential nature of Rancho Calaveras and may continue. And that at least continue through the life of the general plan, and the
Right.
next time we do an
Right.
update to the
Yeah,
community plan, if
continue
something
leaves it
changes.
kind of open-ended.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that would be fine.
Okay.
And then, so would there be and there would be a change to Parks and Recreational for that
Yes.
single piece of property?
Yes, the
So
two parcels, the one with the real estate office
And the
and
tennis courts,
tennis
which is-
courts, as well as the clubhouse property, which includes the parking lot.
Perfect.
Okay, so is there any further discussion?
Thank you.
Good job. So is there a motion to recommend approval of to the Board of Supervisors, the community plan element with the amendments?
Just one thing, we already addressed the sheep ranch?
That would
Yes,
include, it's the Rancho amendment and the
Okay.
Sheep Ranch amendment.
So all of the edits that were made previously of the past meeting, as well as this last change.
I would like to make a motion that the supervisors would accept the community plans as they are amended.
Sure.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next up on the agenda is the public comment period. If there's someone with us today that would like to address the Planning Commission on a land use item, not on the agenda?
Yes, good morning again. Colleen Platt with MyValleySprings.com and the Calaveras Planning Coalition. I just wanted to thank the Planning Commission and the Planning Department for allowing the discussion at the last meeting of the possibility of adding the Copperopolis community plans and the Valley Springs community plans to the general plan update. For our part, we have been working on the combined Valley Springs Community Plan document, and we have completed a first draft, and we're ready to meet with the planning director as soon as he has some time in between all of the things on his plate right now. But we are ready to meet with him on that, so we just want to let you know we're doing our part to move things forward. And we're hoping that possibly the community planning element might be able to come forth again and look at the Valley Springs and the Copper plans.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Any reports from the planning director?
I really don't have anything. We've been very busy
Right.
with processing cannabis registration.
Right, and I think on our next meeting, which sounds like we can plan for a full day.
Yes, definitely. And then, with the beginning of the land use maps, we have, we've advertised it in the paper. We'll be sending out notice to the property owners that we'll be considering their requests. We're going to just sort of do it numerically by assessor's parcel number, and so the way the parcel books are set up, we're going to start in the northeast corner, West Point, Wilseyville, work our way down to McCollum Hill, sort of across the county over to Arnold, back down through San Andreas, Valley Springs, swoops back around to Copperopolis and ends up in Murphy's. So that sort of order. I really have no sense of how much time this will take. It could be fairly quick. It could take several meetings. So we'll just have to sort of play it by ear. And we'll get a better sense at the end of the meeting on the 11th. Now, with 5 appeals on, I suspect that the morning will take up all the morning time. So we'll just let people know that the general plan will start after lunch.
Probably won't happen until the afternoon. Yeah,
So they don't have to sit around all morning.
right,
They can come and enjoy the entertainment of the appeal hearings.
right,
But,
right. Okay. All right.
with that, I have nothing else.
Okay, any questions, commissioners? No? All right, I guess with that, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day.